How Greek was the Apostle Paul? Well, considering how much I emphasize the Jewishness of Paul, you might wonder why I'm asking this question. After all, this video is part of a series titled Journey with the Jewish Paul. Well, here's the thing. Understanding Paul means recognizing how deeply Jewish and how thoroughly Greco-Roman he was. And these aren't mutually exclusive categories. So I think Stanley Stowers puts it best in his commentary on Romans. He compares asking whether Paul is Jewish or Greek to asking whether a rabbi from Boston is Jewish or American. So that rabbi would be fully committed to Judaism while also being shaped by American and especially Northeastern culture. So Paul is similar. He was a Torah-observant Jew through and through, but Paul was also immersed in the wider Greco-Roman world of the early Roman Empire. And this didn't make Paul unique. Jews who lived both inside and outside of Israel were influenced by Greek culture, even while maintaining a strong commitment to a Jewish way of life. And for Jews like Paul, who had origins in the diaspora, which means outside the land of Israel, Greek would have been their primary language. Thus, Jews like Paul primarily engaged with the Septuagint, which was an ancient Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible. So it's not surprising that when Paul quoted the Bible in his letters, his primary source was the Greek Septuagint. So instead of thinking of Paul as influenced either by Jewish or Greek ideas, it's better to see him as a Jewish teacher operating inside the Greco-Roman world. So let's look at a few examples of Greek influences within Paul's letters. So first, Paul uses literary devices common in Greco-Roman rhetoric. So we see this in Romans 7, where Paul employs a fun term to say he employs prosopopoeia, which is a form of speech in character, where a writer imagines a debate partner or a voice. So this literary device wasn't unique to Paul. It was common in Greco-Roman writing and oratory. So many readers assume Romans 7 is Paul talking about his personal struggle with sin. But actually, in this section, Paul is likely crafting the voice of a Gentile trying and failing to conquer sin apart from Christ. So, in other words, Romans 7 does not describe Paul's internal anguish. Rather, he's correcting a viewpoint represented by this imaginary conversation partner. So a second example of Paul's fluid use of Greek concepts is his use of athletic metaphors, which is another hallmark of Greco-Roman culture. So in Romans 11, he compares Israel stumbling to a runner stumbling in a race. But crucially, that runner doesn't fall out of the race. So for Paul, Israel has made a misstep in their response to Jesus, but he's clear that they're still in the race. So this athletic imagery in Romans 11 would have resonated with Paul's Gentile Greco-Roman audience. Stanley Stowers even suggests that Paul may be echoing Homer's Iliad, which tells the story of a foundational foot race, one that later inspired the Olympics. So why does any of this matter? Well, it matters because Paul didn't live in a vacuum. He was a committed Jew within the real complex world of the Roman Empire. His Greekness didn't dilute his Jewishness. Rather, it equipped Paul to reach across cultural boundaries, and it made him the kind of Jew who could build bridges. Hey, if you'd like to learn more about Paul and his Jewish and Greco-Roman context, check out my book, The Weird Apostle. You can find it on Amazon. And don't miss out on any of my new content by subscribing wherever you're watching or listening. And if you'd like to learn more about how to build bridges between Jews and Christians, check out bridgebuildersforum.com.